How you doing, everybody? It's Greg Whitstock, the pond guy. I'm out rebuilding a pond, and I heard from Brian, and he said to me, hey, record a little opening about your event that you're going to be doing at LAL 2021. So I'm going to be there in November. I'm excited. It's been a crazy year. We've been building ponds like crazy. If you're in this industry, you have been going crazy with people improving their homes. But anyway, I missed last year. I'm super excited to get back together with people. I'm not used to doing that with big groups, and Brian does a great job. So if you're not registered for LAL 2021, register. I'm going to be there talking about building a team. I got 130 teammates with me. I still get my hands out. I still get my hands dirty out in the field with these guys, but I'm excited to be in a room learning, because when you stop learning, you stop earning. LAL 2021, I'll see you guys there. I love my job.
You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It's your host, Brian Fullerton, here hanging with you guys, and hope you are having a good morning. All right, well, I want to do a solo episode for you guys. We've had so many great guests on the last couple of weeks. We've had some great Friday shows and some Friday takeovers. We have another one coming this week in the queue with none other than Julio Tomei of Lawn Care Business Success Podcast. And I hope you guys are really enjoying the back-to-back, guest interviews, the back-to-back Friday takeovers. Honestly, we're having a lot of fun with the podcast. Hopefully, it's giving you guys just some mind food while you guys are out there hanging out and just, rocking and rolling with your lawn and landscaping businesses. Well, here's what I want to talk about today is reasons for self-employment, or the case for self-employment. Now, here's the deal. I know a lot of you guys listening in are already self-employed. You own your own business. You are an entrepreneur. You're a small business owner. You're a lawntrepreneur, we call it, in our world, in our ecosystem, right? Especially on our YouTube channel. Welcome to the jungle. Well, a lot of folks that are also listening in, they are on the fence of making the leap or making the jump to start their own business. They're thinking about it. They've been thinking about it. They've been doing research for, and they're excited about making the jump. They're excited about getting that boat close to the dock, as our friend Paul with the Green Industry Podcast says. And that is totally cool. We're so excited for you guys. So many folks out there in America, I think, are really gravitating towards entrepreneurship, especially the last 10, 15, or 20 years, especially. And I want to just kind of take it all the way back to where we kind of were all at one point self-employed, believe it or not. We're an agrarian society. We all had our own farms. We would trade. We trade, livestock. We would trade, agriculture. Hey, I was a blacksmith. You had corn. I would put horseshoes on your horse or your mule. You would give me corn. We would just trade, right? A barter society, a barter system. And then the Industrial Revolution, little case study here, because, I'm a huge history buff, actually. But long story short, a lot of you guys know this because you went to, basic school too, is that, we turned into in the Industrial Revolution, right? We were able to have machines and motors, and we were able to have electricity. The production of people as a society went through the roof, and we consolidated. We weren't a society that was, everybody had their own family farm that had been in, the family generation, for 6, 8, 10, generations. My dad's dad, owned this farm and built this house. And, we had these 100, 200-year-old farmhouses, right? Well, in the early 1900s, maybe even late 1800s, we, had the Industrial Revolution. And so not everybody had to farm, which was actually a modern miracle. That was a great thing. And, don't quote me here where it was one person or, one farm could support 5, 10, 20, 50 people, right? Whatever it was. Well, nowadays, the modern farmer can probably support hundreds, if not thousands, maybe even tens of thousands of people, right? These $500,000 combines, these 1,000-acre farmlands of, name your crop. It's actually really, really cool and really, really interesting to see how societies, I'd say the world in general, I wouldn't just say it was an American revolution, it was an industrial revolution for the world. And so a lot of people went from being self-employed, having the family farm or their family skill sets of you're a baker, you're a potter, you're a blacksmith, In fact, that's where you get the last name Smith. That's where you can get the last name Potter. And that's where you get the last name Baker from. Many a times when people came over, what do? I'm a Potter. Okay, well, your last name is John Potter, right? Or whatever. A lot of you guys know these kind of fun stories. And so we didn't have to have this huge reliance on, these skills that we learned from our fathers or our great-grandfathers, right, that were passed down to us. We could go work in the factories. We had 9-to-5 jobs. We had a rising middle class, all these different things, right? And then for the next 60, 70, 80 years, and this is what I want to get into, we kind of traded autonomy. We traded that independent entrepreneurial spirit and the family farm for the Industrial Revolution, for factories, and then later in life, corporate America, right? And so I'm not going to bash anybody here with anything that we got going on with corporate America or all this stuff, but here's why, timely episode, right? Let's just call a spade a spade. Some mandates were, given out by the current administration, and maybe you agree with them. Great. Maybe you don't agree with them. Great. You guys make your own educated decisions, educated choices. It's pretty apparent in public where I stand on the issue, which I believe you should have choice. Me personally, if the vaccine works, then a vaccinated person shouldn't have to worry about an unvaccinated person, right? And I'm going to go on the record and say that. Like, I don't mind talking just truth and just saying my opinion, for crying out loud. Everybody wants to cancel everybody. Everybody wants to freak out. Everybody wants to have differences of opinion. That's fine. I still believe in civil conversation. I still believe that we can, have difference of agreements, right? Two things can be right at the same time. You might disagree. I might disagree. But you know what? I think the greater country is still more important than, us just, infighting all day long. And so here's what happened in the last week or two. Again, whether you agree with it or you disagree with it, make your own decisions. I'm not here to sway one way or the other. It's a lawn care podcast. We do talk politics once in a while, but it's a lawn care podcast. But here's what I want to talk about is that these mandates have forced a lot of people, more specifically, more recently, to look at self-employment. Right? A lot of these companies, you have up to 75 to 90 days, whatever it is, to potentially, get the vax or lose your job. And so that right there alone is creating a huge catalyst for a lot of people to think about doing their own thing. However, I will also make the case that almost every year, it seems like almost all the time, there's another thing creating another reason to consider self-employment. And I think this trend has really started to gain a lot of steam since the internet and the 2000s, right? So that's what I want to do. I want to talk about reasons for self-employment. Maybe you're on the fence. Maybe you got some marching orders from the man that you're not really excited about. Maybe you work at a company that has 100 people or 101 people. And this isn't really about the COVID and the vax and all that stuff going on. It's another thing. It's another catalyst for more people to start realizing, maybe I don't want to have all my eggs in one basket. Maybe I want to diversify my income. Maybe I want to take a crack at self-employment, entrepreneurship. And you know what? I think lawn and landscaping and hardscaping and being your own, business owner in the green industry space is as admirable and successful as an opportunity that you want it to be and can be. And the door is wide open. The highway is wide open for you to succeed with a green industry business like never before. So I'm not going to make a case trying to convince you to go into the green industry or anything like that. I just want to talk about reasons for self-employment, maybe giving you guys some encouragement to start that journey. Some of you guys, you got a clock that's ticking down. Some of you guys, you've already been digging your well before you need it, as they say, for the last 3, 6, 9, 12, 18 months. Maybe since the beginning of COVID, you lost your job and you're looking at opportunities to become self-employed or have a side hustle. Maybe it is lawn care landscape. And I commend you for that too, because you're way ahead of the people that just had some, info that was passed down to them that maybe they disagree with, or maybe they do agree with, but maybe they disagree with, in the last week. And so now they're scrambling, right? So let's talk about it, all right? Let's just talk about reasons for self-employment. I think it's going to be a really fun episode. And again, I'm not here to, throw shade at any one side or anything like that. I have my beliefs. I respect yours. Hopefully you can respect mine. Let's have a civil conversation here. But let's talk about the greater conversation to me, which is reasons why you should be self-employed. All right, let's hear from today's show sponsor, and then we're going to come right on back.
Calling all landscape pros who want to get serious about healthy turf and a healthier bottom line. It's time to throw down new innovations. Built on 50 years of proven agronomic proficiency, Lesco fertilizers, control products, seed, and equipment are engineered to produce more resilient turf. We'll continue to bring new technologies, so no matter the day, you'll always bring your A game. Upgrade and outperform with Lesco. Visit siteone.com/Lesco today to learn more.
Don't look now, but some joker just stole your gear. Should have gotten Proven Locks, where Brian's 10 saves 10% at provenlocks.com. Now back to the show.
All right. Well, guys, let's talk about the reasons for self-employment. Now, again, just to give you a little history, a little case study on my life and my business. Maybe you guys are new to the show. By the way, our show is all about lawn care landscaping. We call it Lawns, Lessons, Life. That's the tagline. That's the motto. That's the saying, whatever you want to call it, that we have with our podcast. Well, Lawns, Lessons, Life, we're going to talk a little bit about life today, because running your own business, it is a major lifestyle change for so many people. Now, my life story is 16 years ago. I was working at Little Caesars Corporation, ran my own store, had a blast running that for about 4 or 5 years. Got fired from them, transitioned to True Green, which is a national service industry for fertilizer, weed control, all that fun stuff. Worked there for about 18 months, almost 2 years. And that was actually a really fun job and really fun career for me. I actually really enjoyed working at True Green. Learned so many skills and best business practices that I've accumulated from them and applied to my lawn and landscape business today. And then we've actually went back into the green industry space. So when I was a 10-year-old little lad out there, living the dream and slaying dragons, right, at 10 years old, which basically meant push mowing with a little 3.5 horsepower Murray push mower that was not self-propelled. I was about 3.5 feet tall. I literally, had to, like, if you're pushing on a wall, that's how I pushed the mower forward. I had my right hand on that middle bar that would hold the pushing, bracket of the mower, and then the handle, and then I had my left hand on the top of the handle, and I was just pushing this thing like you'd be pushing a wall, going through 6-inch tall grass, because, hey, back in the day, everybody wanted to buy a weekly cut for $10. But you know what? I was self-employed and I was living the dream, and I was cutting grass and making that cash. Well, at 20 years old, I went back into the green industry. And so we're ready to start cutting grass and making a name for ourselves and run our own green industry business. And believe it or not, even your boy here, who did not have the most illustrious start in his first 10 years from 20 to 30 years old, we had a revolving style business where, like, cash came in, but cash went out. New units and machines came in, new engines, new motors, on those mowers, but we used them, burned them up, and traded them in, sold them off. Not a lot of profit, not a lot of headwind, not a lot of headway in our business. We met this amazing lawn care community and all the other entrepreneurs out there all across the fruited plain. And the last 4 or 5 years have been very transformative for us. I'm very thankful for everybody that's listening to the show. You guys have changed my life in one way or another, and I hope to pay it forward and maybe change your guys' life and help you guys out as well. So the last 5 years have been a more successful run with our green industry business, making money, putting money in the bank. So we are having a great time. Things are going a lot better these last few years than they were those first 10. So we've been self-employed for quite a while now. To be honest with you, what happened for me to become self-employed was I didn't have all, $50,000 in the bank. I didn't have, all the boat close to the dock, my debt load at zero or very minimal, 50 customers and a budding $30,000, $40,000 a year side hustle, side business. No, not at all. I had maybe about 10 or 20 clients. I was excited about my lawn and landscape business. I had a little 48-inch Viking walk behind mower. It was an X-Mark. I had a little Tractor Supply trailer. I had my brother's Dodge Durango SUV, and I was the Chuck in the truck. I was the kind of the weirdo just getting his business started. Nothing matched, no colors matched, no equipment matched. I had magnets on the doors. You know what? If you're there, I've been there. We all start there, okay? It's not a put down. It's a, hey, hopefully this gives you some hope, because almost everybody starts there, right? Almost every billion-dollar company you see today started in a garage of some sort, right? Think of the Apples and the Googles, right? So here's the deal. We've been self-employed for 16 years now because I actually got pushed out of True Green. One day they came in, they said, I was like, hey, what truck am I using? Like, what route am I fertilizing? And this was in March, and they said, well, you don't really have a truck anymore. We replaced your guy, a different guy in your truck. And I said, yeah, no problem. Awesome. I said, I'll just take a different truck. And they went, right. So you don't really work here anymore because all the trucks are filled with guys. Our roster's filled. See, back then you could actually find help, right? Today they'd be like, "Hey, we got 8 of the 15 trucks going out. We need another warm body. Can you spray something and not sprayed weed killer and Aunt Susie's landscape bed and kill all of her begonias?" Sure. All right. So I got pushed out. I got abruptly entered into the self-employment world, and arguably, other than working like a couple little side jobs here and there, maybe in the winter to like just to keep myself out of trouble and keep myself off of Amazon and make $400 or $500 a week doing like little odds and ends construction, working in a warehouse, just little stuff like that. We haven't really worked a job in 15, 16, 17 years, whatever it is now. Okay. And so working self-employment for me it might be different than how some of you guys are going to walk into self-employment. In fact, I was just reading a quick little Google search here. I typed in reasons to be self-employed. It said top 10 reasons to consider self-employment. As we go down this list, maybe you're already self-employed. Maybe these, think about 1 or 2 of these that might apply to you and why you made the leap. And if you're looking to make the jump or make the leap, maybe one of these might resonate with you as well. Now, one of them that it says right here is to control your financial future. I think that is probably arguably one of the number one reasons. It might be the number one reason why it's on this list for that reason, to start your own business. It's to control your financial future. Maybe you have a job, you're making 60, 70, 80 grand. It's great. But at the same point, somebody just pulled the rug out from underneath you, whether it's the company, whether it's the government, which I never thought I would say, which is alarming. But somebody pulled the rug out from underneath you, or even it doesn't have to be that dramatic. Maybe you're in sales or a commission-based structure. You hit all your targets, your metrics last year. You made $120,000. They said, well, we can't have a sales rep making more than a director, so we're going to cut your territory, cut your profit, and triple your quota, and basically make it impossible for you to get these payouts. And now you're going to be down to a $70,000, commission-based job. Happens all the time. Happens all the time in corporate America. So maybe you want to take control of your financial future. I know that was one for me. You want to earn rewards for your hard work. That's a great one. All right. Maybe some of you guys are out there, you're putting in the overtime, you're working the nights and weekends, you're missing birthdays, you're missing anniversaries for, your company, and you think it's appreciated, right? You think if I pay these dues, I'm going to get ahead and all this other stuff. Maybe. But here's the reality is that if you put those extra hours into your business, you're going to keep the profit. Just period, case closed. I mean, I remember somebody saying once, every day you're going to work for a dream. Either you're going to build yours or you're going to build somebody else's, right? And so all these extra hours you're putting in, the company might appreciate it. And the owner of that company might say, you're doing a great job. And he might give you an extra, percentage of what you bring in. But the reality is that somebody else is keeping the lion's share of that. Amen. All right. You set your own hours. This is huge. I think besides the financial freedom is something you ask about people. Why are you self-employed? And they say freedom. I like the flexibility. Now, if you're an owner operator, I understand you might not be able to, take 2 weeks off. You have to get back to the job. However, there's many times where you can start work a little later, finish a little early with mowing. Maybe you're a landscaper. You need to take a week off because you want to go on vacation. I saw Josh Sutton live in the dream. I think he is on, Trip of the Month Club over here because every month he's on a new vacation. So I'm living vicariously through Josh, just having some fun. But you know what? Maybe they finish up a $30,000, $40,000 hardscape job. They want to take 10 days off. They made some, solid profit. They can afford to. They got their numbers in line. They want to take 10 days, take the family out to the beach or to Florida. They can do that. They have the option to set their own hours. In fact, just this morning, I had some gnarly food poisoning, okay? Overnight. It was not pretty. Zero sleep, the whole deal, right? So what did I do? I texted my guy, Rob. I said, hey, dude, I'm not feeling it. Let's start at such time to this morning. We got out there at 9 a.m. instead of linking up about 7:30 like we normally do. And we were able to just push it back a little bit so I can get an extra hour or two of sleep this morning. Well, 1 or 2 hours of sleep actually this morning, because that's all I got. But you know what? It was something where we had that flexibility. We started a little later. We actually finished about the same time because we were just pretty efficient. The lawns weren't growing as much, but we had some time flexibility, okay? All right, you get to choose who you work with. That's another one on the list here. Maybe you get to choose different people you get to work with. I'll tell you what, When I was working at the warehouse, I was working at Little Caesars, I hated who I worked with. I literally, I guess hate's a strong word, but that's what it was. I hated who I worked with. These people, many of these folks had no values, no morals and no interests that I had. They would talk just junk about their wife, junk about people. They would gossip. They prioritized, learning lyrics of a rap song versus lyrics in a Bible or passages of a Bible. And you know what? I'm not judging, but God bless them. They can do whatever they want to do. But when a rap song came on and the stuff they would just repeat, I was just like, how can you say that? Or the shows they would listen to, the Howard Stern type things. That's fine. God bless. People can do whatever they want to do. It just wasn't for me. And so working in proximity with these people, you work in these blue collar environments. Whoever gets there first gets the radio, man, and they get to put on their show, right? If you've been there, especially warehouse environments. And so I got to listen to some moron, with no values, no interest that I have, talk about stupid stuff for 2-3 hours, and I'm still susceptible to it. And I want to control what goes into my ear gate and my eye gate, right? So I'm stuck listening secondhand to some moron talk about, broke things. I was not a fan of that. I did not like to who I worked with, and I didn't like associating with the people they wanted to listen to as well, right? So that might be one of those things too. Maybe you don't like your coworkers. Great reason to be self-employed. We got 4 more. We're going to button this up. All right, your days are never the same. Man, talk about Groundhog's Day, right? Old classic movie. This was actually a huge reason for my wife. She wanted to be a stay-at-home wife and then eventually a stay-at-home mom. She was talking about how one day she was driving to work, and I swear, like, she tells the story better than I did, but she was like, I saw like the same 3 cars every stoplight at the exact same time. She'd leave the house at 7:20 in the morning. At 7:40, she'd be at this intersection, and she'd see the little red Mercedes coupe. She'd go to the next intersection, the next light, the blacked out Escalade. It would barrel through the light at 7:41. She'd get to work at 7:50, and the white, Mercedes little SUV parks right next to her at the exact same thing, the exact same time. And you kind of like look at these people, and you're like, oh my gosh. And then what happens the exact next day? Everything just repeats itself. I don't know. That's how like life has got to change when you're driving on the highway and you see the exact same people doing the exact same thing. It kind of freaks me out. Now, I guess you can kind of say that tongue-in-cheek for lawn maintenance, because the irony is that I'll be zipping around town and I'll see the same crews on the same properties at the same time. So I guess it's similar but different. But you know what? I wouldn't mind repeating the same tasks day in and day out if I was self-employed and I owned the business. For me, that is totally fine. But if I was working for somebody else and I was just stuck in this rat race, this rat wheel that just kept repeating, I would probably lose my mind as well. All right, 3 other ones here. Let's just go through these quick. You can't follow your passion. You can't typically follow your passion in your job. You have a narrow range of tasks and duties that you have to do when you're employed. That's in fact what employment means. You have a narrow range of tasks and duties that you have to do that contribute to the greater good. The greater good, right? One of those deals. You can't follow your passions. If you're an engineer and you're working on some widget or some doodad that you have to at the factory to, it's a component for a vehicle, you might not be excited about that. I remember a friend of mine, he was like, his job was working on like the power steering control or mechanism or motor. That was his job. He was working on power steering mechanisms for an automotive vehicle, I don't know, GM or whatever. And he's like, every day I go to work, he goes, I get paid $60,000 a year to work on power steering, wiring harnesses and motors. He goes, love it. He goes, nothing like going to Michigan State, paying $60,000 in college to go literally work on something that nobody in their right mind ever thinks about, ever considers. You don't go in your car and go, man, thank God for my power steering today. Although my wife does, because back in the day, Shannon Lero did not have power steering. We called it the sled, and that was a unique experience. Okay, so you can't follow your passions. When you're self-employed, you can follow your passions. Okay, you can follow your purpose. You can follow your passions. That is so true. Another one, you find solutions for people. I like that. You can serve people. When you're self-employed, you can find problems and solve them. That's basically what a leader is. It's what somebody who's self-employed does all day long, or at least the good ones. When you're working for somebody else, you might not be able to find solutions for people. You might be a cog in a wheel in a system. You don't know how it contributes to the greater good or the result of what your whole team is working towards. And you might not be able to find solutions for people. Okay. And the last one is you aren't a drone giving up intellectual property to your employer. Okay. Well, that's their list. I like that. If you have great ideas and you want to contribute them to the company, you know what? You might not get credit for that or get to keep that idea or even get paid on royalties or residuals for all that stuff in the future, right? I'm trying to look at this list here. All the reasons you can work from home anywhere. You can follow your passion, enjoy a better work-life balance, control of your life and career. Self-employment has tax advantages. This is true. Working remotely, you can control your income and you can be your own boss. Okay, just some other honorable mentions. Let's button it up right here. Here's what I want to talk about. I want to help maybe give some of you guys that are on the fence, maybe because of the government mandates or just, look, 6 months from now, there's going to be another thing, another reason. Whether it's a 9/11, whether it's the stock market bottoming out 50%, whether it's you get a new manager at your job. Like right now, things are good. You're rocking and rolling, but that guy's going to retire. That guy's going to move on, and your new boss might not be as understanding. You might be working at a company for 10 years, and hey, how it's been done is not how it's always going to be done, right? Your current boss says, hey, you do a good job. Just get your work done. I don't care how you do it, where you do it, what you got to do. Just get your job done, right? So you're able to come in late on a Monday. You're able to leave early on a flex date on Wednesday at 2 o'clock to go watch your kid play Little League or take him to baseball practice. And you're able to duck out Fridays at 2 p.m. instead of 4 p.m., because all your work is done and everything's tidied up. New boss comes in. He says, nope, we're laying the law. He wants to impress his the person that hired him. He's going to lay down the law for your team and your department. Everybody's in the office every day, 8 to 5, no flex days, no Zoom days, no telecommute days. I don't care about your Little League. I don't care about your family. He wants you to be there to work. Happens all the time. Okay. Somebody, again, talking about, I think the big one is pulling the rug out from underneath you financially. I would honestly rather make $60,000 a year self-employed than $100,000 a year working for somebody else. In fact, if you have a great accountant and a great CPA, $60,000 self-employed can go as far or further than somebody who makes $100,000 gross at their company job, their corporate job. Okay, tax advantages for self-employed people are phenomenal, and it can be the equalizer, compared to somebody who's just making a high salary that's going to get taxed at a higher rate. Okay, I think income. Here's the thing with lawn care, landscaping. You want to make more, go work more. If I want to make an extra $1,000, I can go do 4, 5, 6 aerations. I can pass out postcards. I can make calls. I can, dial for dollars. I can go do 6 aerations in the evenings or on a Saturday, and I can go make $600. If you're working at a job, very typically you're stuck, right? Hours in, time in, dollars out. You trade time for money. When you're self-employed, you can grow a company, get new customers. I don't have to keep getting customers to keep getting paid. Okay. Let's talk about time. I think besides income, time is number 2 on this list. Okay. So many people that work another job, they're just sick and tired of being controlled on their schedule. There's no flexibility there. Maybe you are working a job right now that, it's 50 hours a week minimum. I was working at Little Caesars, and I remember getting so efficient at my job that my salary was 50 hours. I was working 42 hours a week in my restaurant. Our hours were under, our controls were under. We were running like a 15, 18% profit margin for the store, which is amazing for fast food. We were hitting all of our controllables. We were just crushing it, right? And my area supervisor comes in. This should have been a red flag. 6 months in, I'm licking this thing. We're just kicking butt. And my area supervisor comes in and he says, hey, we have an issue with your time card. It's been brought to our attention that you've only been working 42 and a half hours at your store. And I said, okay, well, what's the issue here? What do we got going on? Like I'm 19. These people are all 40 years old. I'm intimidated already at 19 with inadequacies as it is, right? And I'm saying, well, what's the issue? I said, my store's killing it. I said, we're like number 1 or number 2 every week in our area. Our sales are up, our controls are under, we're crushing it. Okay. We have 100% on our audit reports, our customer service, reports are amazing. We get great feedback on our store. What could be the issue? And they said, you don't understand. When you signed up and you signed the contract to be a store manager, your salary was based on 50 hours a week minimum. And they literally printed off my job description, my job duties, a 3 page packet, stapled it, gave it to me, a yellow highlight. It says 50, and then they circled the word minimum with a yellow marker with 2 pen lines, which, they mean that's serious in corporate America. And I was like, so I'm working 42 and a half. The system is running like crazy awesome, very efficient. I've always been about efficiency. But you're telling me that I just need to be here by 50 hours a week minimum. By the way, other store managers and supervisors in the whole company, 55, 60 hours a week, 62. It was like, if you're not working 60, you're not even trying. You're not serious. And I'm like, well, isn't the goal to like make money, be efficient, and like be streamlined and, make net profit? No. The goal is work your 55 hours a week. I don't care what you have to do. You need to be in the store 50 hours a week. And you know what I did? Not that. I never worked my 50 hours from there before or thereafter because it was lunacy. It was insanity. I was not going to go warm a chair or go do, TPS reports at my restaurant for an extra 7.5 hours a week to appease somebody. And you know what? They didn't like that entrepreneurial spirit. Okay. And maybe you're self-employed, and that story right there is your life story. You hate the inefficiencies. You hate the redundancies, right? Maybe these are things that are going to fire you up enough to finally say, you know what? I'm walking down to my dealer. I've already bought the How to Start My Own Lawn Care Business Training Program on Entrepreneur Academy. I've already bought the rate adjustment letter. I'm already, bought the whole ball of wax. I already bought the pricing matrix from Paul Jameson. I already bought a coaching call from Caleb Allman with the Hardscape Academy or whatever. I've already devoured 100 videos on YouTube from Brian, Spencer's Lawn Care, Alex Nickens, Stanley Dirt Monkey. I've already watched Keith Kelfa's back videos from 2015, 16, 17. And you still haven't made the jump. You still haven't made the decision. Well, here's what I want to do. I want to invite you to not throw caution to the wind. I want to invite you to make an informed, intelligent decision and give you the courage that enough is enough. And here's your wake-up call. And here's your call to action to start becoming self-employed, to make the decision. Because nothing changes if nothing changes. And I swear, this is a funny story. Some of you guys can relate to this, maybe taking it all the way back. Used to be like lawn forums and lawn site. We're talking like way take it back, okay? And there was this one dude, and he was like, you want to start your own lawn care business, then go for it. And that was his like saying. It was like this really weird, sketchy dude. He was like, go for it. And I don't know, he's probably like some guru now. He's probably got like $1 million in the bank because he has like the first lawn care internet website, But he was always like, if you don't start today, you're going to be a day older and a day less accomplished or whatever his tagline was. And he's like, go for it. And his like software was like goforit.com or whatever it was, right? And you know what? I bet you I watched that guy and I was on those forums every night. I was doing research and I probably watched that guy for a year in his crappy little videos back in like 2004, on YouTube or on his like forums, on his websites. You guys remember forums and all that? But you know what? He was right. Go for it. Go for it. Make it happen. Just do it. I mean, seriously, that's the point. I'm not saying if you have a $70,000 job, walk in, kick the door open, tell your boss, I'm not taking that vax. It's either you guys change or I'm out of here. You know what? Maybe you want to do that. That's fine. Here's a better way to do that. Some of you guys got 70 some days, 75 days based on this mandate to get your crap together, to get the boat as close to the dock. Well, Brian, we're going into fall and winter. Okay. That's fair. You know what? Start your business now. Start getting customers nights and weekends. I'm corporate America. I wear khaki pants, black pants. I wear dress clothes. I wear whatever. That's really, really cool. And at 5:00, you better be at home designing logos, figuring out what a bookkeeper is, how it works, figuring out a payroll, how it works. You need to buy coaching calls. You need to make investments into your future. You need to get this thing moving now. Okay. And it's not just a case for, against the vaxes or the mandates or anything like that. My heart's desire, my prayer for you guys listening in is to stop being controlled, is to stop having to rely on so many other things and so many other people. If you're not making enough money in life, you can solve that problem. You can start side hustles. You can do network marketing. You can go wholesale houses or whatever. You can go flip homes. You can do fixer-uppers. You can go have a YouTube channel. You can go do a tech review channel. You can make music and sell it for digital downloads for $1 or $5 or $20. You can go start an Instagram t-shirt business where you get Instagram followers and you just have like a cafe press printful, ship on demand type services. There's 100 different ways to have 100 different side hustles today. Okay. There is no excuses to not have a side hustle or to not be self-employed today. I'm very, very serious. I'm very, very empathetic to the situation. Like, I'm in the exact same boat. I still run my business, my lawn landscape company. I love it. I hustle. I work it every day. I put in 40, 50 hours a week, just like you guys mowing grass. I have my side hustles. Like, it's not a plan B, by the way. These aren't a plan B. These are a secondary business. This is, if anything happens to business A, and the water level goes from my ankles to my chest, I'm going to be a little nervous. If the water level goes from my ankle to my nose, I'm going to be a lot nervous. And I don't know what that means. That could be we're forced closed. It could mean that we lost a couple of clients. It can mean whatever in 100 different ways for 100 different of y'all listening in, right? But if I got the water level, maybe my expenses to my income, I got the expenses so low, the income so high that if the water level went from my ankles to my kneecaps, you know what? I'm like, wow, that's unsettling. But you know what? I can still walk through water. I can still tread water. We're still have our feet to the ground. We're not going to get washed away with the riptide or the current. Okay. We're chill. You know why? Because we have a side hustle. We have our main income and we have our second business. By the way, we're going to have third and fourth and fifth businesses, right? And maybe you will eventually too. I know so many of you guys that have landscaping companies and then you have a YouTube channel or you have different divisions of your company or you're selling t-shirts on the side or selling hats on the side. Dude, that's freaking awesome. Maybe you're in corporate America right now, or maybe you run a blue collar job and you're like, look, I'll do business 2, 3, and 4, and 5 one day. But right now I got to get business number 1. That is your side hustle, which is your lawn and landscape business. Here's my me waving the cowbell. The British are coming. The British are coming. Okay. Self-employment is where it's at. Self-employment is hard. Self-employment, there's times where it literally, I'm being honest with you, it sucks. You have to do things you don't want to do. There's people I have to talk to that I don't want to talk to. Meetings I got to be in that I don't want to be in. Customers come up to you and they have expectations that are just ridiculous. I mean, I literally had a customer complain at me today. He did a really well job. Like, he sandwiched it. He's like, hey, you guys are doing a great job. Can you not do this? But hey, keep up the great work. I'm like, listen, dude, we've never done what you just accused us of doing ever once in our 3 years we've had you as a customer. But I swallowed my pride, I swallowed my ego, and I said, yes, sir. I said, no problem, brother. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. We got you 100%. I don't want to eat crow. I don't want to, swallow my pride, right? But you can be right or you can be wealthy. And I said, you know what? Yes, sir. No problem. We got you, brother. Awesome. And you know what? I didn't take it personal. I wasn't like, I'm going to stick it to that guy. We don't need you, man. Do you know who you're talking to? You can get out of here. Like, I'm Brian's all maintenance. Come on. All the time I'm like, hey, no problem. We diffuse. We just calm the person down. Hey, dude, no problem. We got you 100%. Thanks for bringing it to my attention. Me and my guys, we're not buttheads. We're trying to keep a good name out in the marketplace. Okay. So you guys heard the list earlier of those 10 reasons why people want to become self-employed. Money is number 1 for most people. 2 is time. 3 is freedom or flexibility. Number 4 for me is tax advantages. Okay, you just will not get wealthy being an employee. Okay, it's going to take you 40 or 50 years to save $1 million, put it in a Roth IRA 401k. It is the slowest way to, and when you do retire, your quality of life is going to suck. Okay. Well, I know a guy that he worked 40 years. Listen, you can always have that argument, that conversation, but look at the people who have cash flow and they're wealthy and they have their finances together. They're self-employed with a business or multiple businesses and multiple streams of income. Okay. I'm just telling you, I'm making the case for self-employment. Okay. Time, money, freedom, flexibility, right? Less hassles, less worries. Okay. You know what? If I've got 100 lawn care clients and 1 or 2 people quit, I still have 98 sources of income. If you're working a job and you say something offhand to your boss that maybe you don't like and he doesn't like you, right? Or whatever, and he says, you know what, you don't work here anymore, guess what? You have 1 source of income. Okay, 1 source of income. And if he fires you or something happens or a mandate is made or a policy is made or a whatever, and you don't like that, or a contract dries up for that company and they have to lay off 1/3 of their people, 100 people get laid off, 500 people get laid off, a division gets shut down, a manufacturing line gets shut down, you're screwed. You're done. You're toast. Why would you ever put all of your eggs in one basket? They say diversify your investments. I think a lot more people need to diversify their income. I mean, I literally added it up from our social media business. I think there's 19 different ways I get paid from things. From our lawn care business, there's over like 85 to 90 clients that we get a check from every single month based on the work we do. Okay. I don't know what that is, 110, 120. You know what? Here's the deal. Imagine you're going to fill up a pool. Okay. Pool could be your freedom. Pool could be your income, your money. When you are trying to fill up a pool, you can have 20 different garden hoses. You can have 3 fire hoses, right? Once in a while, you might have a huge tanker truck come back and drop 5,000 gallons of water into your pool. I was watching J Squared Outdoors and just doing some beautiful pool work, right? With some pavers and this pool install, like building my dream, right? Listen, the tanker trucks can come once in a while. We always appreciate them. The 3 fire hoses, that's awesome. But if a hose gets kinked, we're gonna notice it, right? And you could have 9 garden hoses. By the way, if somebody steps on my garden hose, it's no big deal. I still got 8 other garden hoses filling up the pool. Okay. You know what? I'm never going to turn off the garden hoses. I appreciate the fire hoses. And when those 5,000 gallon tanker trucks come in and they fill up the pool big time, we super appreciate them. That could be a huge landscape job. That could be a sponsorship YouTube brand deal. That could be a whatever it is, depending on whatever your business is, right? But here's the deal. You have to be self-employed to have these opportunities. That's just where I'm going to leave it. You have to be self-employed to have these kind of opportunities. All right. So I'm making a case for self-employment. Guys, put yourself back into a position to win. The sad truth is that over the last 75 to 80 years, we've become so self-reliant on, or so reliant, I should say, on other people, other entities. And there has not been a lot of ownership. There's not been a lot of, I just don't know other way to say it without being so offensive in today's world, is that like you've put yourself in your own situation and you got to own it. I did not like where I was 5 years ago. I did not like where I was 15 years ago. And the life that we're starting to walk into is literally something that we built by design. And it took so much more time, so much more effort than I ever would have met. We're not a finished product, come on. But it took so much more effort. I'm like, oh my God, this is exhaustive. But when comparing it to the other side, when comparing it to what it could be, comparing it to, hey, I'm going to go get a job and make $60,000 a year, I could never, ever imagine going back to getting a paycheck and being a W-2 wage earner. I'm not putting anybody down that has a job. Thank God that there's people out there that wash cars and there's people that stock our grocery shelves, all that fun stuff. We need people like that. I'm not better than them. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just saying for me and my family, I know who we're serving. I know what we're doing, and we're going to be self-reliant as much as we can be. Okay. We as a country and as a society got away from being independent to being farmers, from being people that, controlled our future. Right. And we put so much emphasis on so many other things the last 75 years that it's almost like you're the weirdo if you're an entrepreneur. You're the freak if you're self-employed. Oh, it's risky. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. And you've heard all these lies. I mean, just untruths for so long. I mean, everything you could say to me that you think is a reason not to be self-employed, I could literally turn it and flip it back on you and say, A, that's exactly why you should be self-employed. And B, what kind of guarantee can you give me at corporate America that wouldn't happen to you? And it's like, ooh, right? Again, I am not putting anybody down that works at corporate America, but I'm just telling you straight up, seems like every 6 months, every 12 months in this country, it's so much tumultuousness going on that it provides another catalyst for you to be self-employed. And here's what I would just say. You might want to heed the call. Okay. You might want to heed the call. It is tough being self-employed, but you know what? I would rather just die standing up than to live on my knees. Okay. I will not succumb to having to work for somebody else ever again. Okay. Like I've been free with our, self-employed for 16 years here. And, we haven't made like millions and millions of dollars, with our lawn landscape company. We make $100,000 a year. Like we're living the dream. We're having some fun. Things are going good. We've got our little side hustles, just like a lot of you guys. But you know what? I would never trade that financial freedom, that little bit more time freedom, and income freedom for any guarantee. You know, I would never change it for any guarantee. I heard somebody say, and I'll button up with this. They said, what is the safest place on the planet? What is the safest, most secure place on the planet? And the guy said, a maximum security prison cell. He said, but how free are you in a maximum security prison cell? None. So you can have security or you can have freedom, but you cannot have both. And I'm just telling you straight up, working for somebody else, you have a very secure situation there, don't you? But you will never have any freedom working for somebody else. All right. That's what I got for you guys today. I love you. I appreciate you guys listening. I hope this gives you guys some encouragement. If you're trying to go start your own business and be self-employed, do it right, be smart, get some education, buy some coaching calls from whoever your favorite person is. If you're stuck, watch some YouTube videos, read some great books. There's so much great content and info out there, especially today. My gosh, especially today with different podcasts in and outside of the green industry. All right, guys, appreciate you so much for listening in. Let's kick it over to Marty down in the ATL. We're going to hear from today's show sponsor, show announcements a little bit more. We're going to wrap this guy up, and I can't wait to see some of you guys here before we know it in Louisville, Kentucky at the GIE Plus Expo and also at Entrepreneur Academy Live 2021, right around the corner. Have a great day, guys. We'll catch up with you on the next one.
Calling all landscape pros who want to get serious about healthy turf and a healthier bottom line. It's time to throw down new innovations. Built on 50 years of proven agronomic proficiency, Lesco fertilizers, control products, seed, and equipment are engineered to produce more resilient turf. We'll continue to bring new technologies, so no matter the day, you'll always bring your A game. Upgrade and outperform with Lesco. Visit siteone.com/Lesco today to learn more.
Here's Brian Fullerton talking about one of the benefits of purchasing the postcard designs from L'EntrepreneurAcademy.com.
Hey, I don't want you guys to have to spend 10 hours trying to get these things designed and all that back and forth, especially if it is during the busy season.
Your time is valuable, and so is your money.
If you buy 2,500, you get 500 extra cards for free. If you buy 5,000, you get an extra 1,000 for free. So that's some of Brian's discounted rates that you're getting.
That's Samantha Heald from Postcard Mania, who is Brian's preferred printer for these proven marketing pieces.
Buy the design from L'Entrepreneur Academy. Email up Samantha and her team. We have a direct link and contact info to reach out to them. And if you guys take that design, that PDF art file, Samantha and her team will make minor edits for
free. Yep, for free. We're doing it for free.
So if you want more customers and discounted pricing on printing, then the proven postcard designs and templates at L'EntrepreneurAcademy.com is the way to go.
Because of the fact that we print all of our own stuff in-house, there are certain tiers and quantities for us that it makes more sense where you guys are getting better price breaks.
Catch Brian's full interview with Samantha on episode 173 and crush your marketing efforts with 11 new postcard designs to go along with the 4 seasonal card designs from last year. L'EntrepreneurAcademy.com.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.